Alright, so I apologize if this audio is a little funky. I'm actually doing this voiceover in my car, trying to warm up a little bit while Phillip's working on the boat, and it's the middle of winter and it's stinking cold. So over the past 8 months or so, Phillip has been rebuilding our Companionway Hatch.
So for our boat, we have a Companionway hatch that's currently on it, and we also have this one. Well, the reality is it's one that's falling apart. Neither of them have glass in it, and so it just makes it dark when you close it. So we're hoping to rebuild it. So I'm gonna pull some dimensions off this one, see what is maybe salvageable for patterning materials. I think the front piece of wood is salvageable. The plywood is not.
It started with cutting out these foam pieces and glassing them together in between other more important projects. After that, it was fairing and sanding and a lot of extra steps in between. During the coldest winter months, boatwork usually slows to a crawl. Painting, fiberglass, resealing, all of these things have a temperature requirement, and we've been generally sitting around 30 degrees Fahrenheit. With this stall in production, Phillip has gone back to a few of the less important projects, like the hatch. So this is what we've gotten done recently. As you can see, you have to be pretty delicate with freshly faired and sanded pieces of artwork. Really though, this thing is pretty tough. It's going to have to be if it's going to stand up to the years of abuse and inclement weather. Phillip and I agonized over paint colors when we built our hard dodger. We wanted a color that looked white but wasn't white. White doesn't attract heat in the summer, and while you can see dirt on it very easily, it does also give you a clear indicator when something's amiss, like a bolt that maybe wasn't actually stainless even though you thought it was. Also, what other color can you paint the decks of a 39-foot canary yellow sailboat? Blue and yellow? Not in Michigan. Phillip and I don't watch a lick of sports, but every MSU fan in the state would be giving us the stink eye. Green and yellow? Nope. Any farmer with a red or blue tractor would be absolutely rolling their eyes. Black and yellow? Biggest bumblebee I've ever seen. And red and yellow? I'd prefer to not look like I've gotten a fast food sponsorship. So, mostly white it was. However, beautiful, sparkling, crisp white paint is absolutely blinding on a nice sunny day. So we agonized over mixing a gray paint that looked white until you actually put something white next to it.
So I currently have one coat of paint on the new Companionway hatch, and then I had found some pinholes and defects, not really defects, but like some small holes that I wanted to fill. So I filled those with some thickened epoxy, and I've got everything kind of sanded down, ready for the next coat of paint. We'll see if I can get some video, but I'm painting outside for fume purposes, but it's cold and dark because it's Michigan and it's after work, so it's hard to get good footage outside and at night. So yeah, I'm hopefully get another coat on the top of this, and we'll see if I need, how many coats I'll need. For sure, probably one more, maybe two on the top and probably two on the bottom. So it's gonna take a little bit of painting. I have got, I think, all but two of the polycarb windows cut and the edges painted. I got two more to cut, hopefully be tonight. And yeah, I am excited for this project to be done. It's taken a long time. For the Companionway Hatch, I am cutting polycarbonate windows for the top, and it's just clear, but it's about 1/4 inch. I think it's just a fuzz under, actually 1/4 inch. The openings they're probably 4.5 inches wide and 8 inches long, so the glass overhangs by probably 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm gonna use a bandsaw, cut them out, and I've got 6 of those to cut. Got a few to do, and then the edges I'm gonna paint black. That way you don't see the sealant and the adhesive that's holding them down. Alright, so I have I've got like 3 coats of paint on each side of the new Companionway Hatch. So the paint's dry. I'm now gonna place in butyl tape all the way around, and that will adhere the polycarb panels in. The polycarb has a black edge around it, so if there are any like voids or gaps in where the sealant is, and then when I use I think it's Dow Corning 795 to like fill the gaps and create a nice like visual seam both on the inside and the out. If there are any gaps in between those, you won't be able to see it because the edge of the polycarb is painted black. It just gives it a really nice clean look. So yeah, that's my project tonight, is put all the screens in, or the sealant in, and then put all the polycarb in, and then I'll still have to like mask and tape the edges and put the sealant in. I don't know if I'll get to that tonight. Alright, so I'm going to install butyl around the opening. And this will be the sealant that keeps in the polycarb window that's going in. So then the polycarb has the edges all painted black, and I still left the protective film on both sides, in the middle and on the edge, so when I peel it, it creates a nice seam. So I'm just gonna try to get this to sit in here in the opening about as centered as possible, so it looks nice and even. And I'm gonna just start pressing it in to the butyl to seal everything. This is one of them. The other, Phillip, in his wisdom. Okay, not really wisdom. I forgot to grab the GoPros, so I have my phone on an old mount they were using on Kalamazoo to hold the phone for navigational purposes, and that's what I have for doing this right now. So it's definitely not an ideal setup. Furious mounting. Alright, so I just installed all 6 of the polycarb windows. I still need to seal the edges, which is why there's some gaps here. And then, let's see if it balances. That is what it looks like from the under. I thought I was gonna go. This is what it looks like from the underside. The plastic coating won't be pulled off. It'll be clear, but there'll still be like an edge of black. And so it should have a nice clean reveal to it. I'm really liking how it's turning out, so I think it's going to be a good upgrade to Bombadil. Alright, so this is what it looks like. So from a couple feet it looks good, but like, I don't know, there's some spots in here that are just a little messy, and yeah, it's just, there's not a good way to clean it up now. So this has some imperfections in it, but overall, if you're about 5 feet away, 4, it looks pretty nice. So the rails for the Companionway hatch are UH&W, which is actually what's clamped in the vise right now. The bolts that I'm using to hold it are flatheads. So to get those to sit nice, you have to countersink the opening. The tricky part of this is actually a tapered, like, and it's an angled cut. So it wants to slide this way as I'm drilling, so I have to keep enough pressure this way on the bit as I drill so that it goes in nice. So I've got 6, I already did the other rail, so I got 6 left on this one to do to countersink. Then I can finish installing this, and that's the last part that I need to do for functionality for the Companionway hatch. At some point I'll probably seal the gap between the hatch and the rails, but I want to do that after I fit it, because I have not test fit these onto the boat yet. So I've done all the math, everything should work, but might not be the case.
Now, we have not removed the old hatch and installed a new one for a few reasons, partially because we are constantly moving big and heavy items in and out of the boat and we don't want to scratch it, but mainly because, as I've mentioned, it's pretty stinking cold out, and to replace the old hatch we need to fully disassemble the helm and the pedestal. So it will stay in Phillip's parents' basement until we get a kind of nice day where we aren't rushing to finish one of those pesky, slightly more important projects.
Alright, so there's the Companionway hatch. See, I got the rails bolted on each side, so I'm happy with how it turned out and looks. So I'm hoping it serves us really nice for the next while. So I'm really excited for all the natural light that it's going to let in, as it gets a little dark with this closed currently, so should be a big improvement.